What up, Dotakus? It's your tour guide. This is a special midweek uh, midweek check-in, I guess. And the reason we are doing it midweek is because we got a book, a book from a seller on eBay, and I'm kind of worried because that there's like a little bend in the boarding of this. So I'm hoping it didn't get bent. But we'll see. But anyway, we'll get to unboxing that at the end, and we're gonna go over some of our pickups. I didn't pick up anything. The pickups are all. So let me back up. This past weekend, Naman Hyung, reached out to me because he's gonna head back to Virginia. He's gonna road trip it back, and he's like, "I'm heading back, so let's meet up before I go back." And so, yeah, we made plans to meet up for lunch, and we went to this nice. I took him to really one of my family's favorite spots. It's a Vietnamese place. Really good banh mi sandwiches, good pho. And I said, "Hey, let's meet up there." And we met up on I think a Saturday, or maybe it was a Sunday. Yeah, we met up on a Sunday, and had lunch. And I brought my boy with me because I was kind of taking care of him, watching him for the day. And we went, and it was a great time, and we had lunch. Hyung was, very generous to pay for lunch, and he also gifted me 3 books. So the 3 books I'm gonna show off are books from him. He, I guess, just wanted to impart those books to me before he left. And one is actually one I've been meaning to add to my collection for a while now. So yeah, it's a Jim Lee book. It's a pretty meaningful Jim Lee book, and we'll get into what that is in a moment. But yeah, it was just it was great seeing him and catching up. But what I really appreciated was, he just spent time with my boy, and my son was like, he was just so excited to meet him because when when we said our goodbyes, my son was like, like I like Samchun, and he was really he doesn't really say that about like everyone we meet, like but I think he and Naman Young, and I think I don't know what it was that made Leo really appreciate it, but Naman Hyung did kind of sketch him and do a little drawing of him, and Leo was so like focused and very interested. He was like posing. I think it was the first time anybody had drawn him, and I think that maybe had had like a big impact on him. And he saw his, in fact, I have the sketch right here that Naman Hyung drew. He drew a sketch of my boy right there, and I think Leo really appreciated that. So, yeah, I mean, Naman Hyung won him over with the little sketch. He also got some candy from Hyung, and that probably helped as well. But anyway, we had a blast, and I just want to thank Hyung for watching us rewind. Thanks a lot for getting lunch and hanging out with us, and yeah, it was really nice. So yeah, the 3 books that Hyung got me. We'll start here with this beautiful you're gonna have to excuse me. I don't know who the other artist. So I think it was. Let me hang on. I think I have it on my list here. Just look it up real quick. So yes, Chris Marinon. Chris Marinon. It's a Chris Marinon cover that George Perez inked. And that applies to the interiors as well. Chris Marinon pencils. I don't know if George Perez inked, but Perez did definitely write the story. No, sorry. Mindy Newell wrote the story. So Perez did the interiors. Marinon, I think, did the inking on the interiors. But yeah, so it's a Perez Marinon cover, and it's a great. I mean, anything George Perez does is great, but it's a tree bondage cover of Wonder Woman. My camera ever comes into focus. There we go. Beautiful cover there. Wonder Woman 40. Yeah, I just get real, see all the detail. It's kind of a detail and action that you get on like a typical George Perez comic book cover. As a black cover, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna I'm kind of gonna try to keep the video short today, so I'm not gonna closely grade these. We'll get to grading these at some other point, but nice little addition to my Wonder Woman collection. This one Hyung gifted me as well, and we already had a copy of it, but I don't mind having another beautiful copy of Wonder Woman 0. Nice ball-in cover there. I think this is Ballin has so many wonderful Wonder Woman covers, but this particular one, the 0 cover, has to be one of my favorite in the run by Ballin. Yeah, I mean, there's actually one or two that are technically my favorites that I don't have yet. They're on my want list, wish list. One is kind of pricey, so we're just hoping to bring that in the collection at some point. But yeah, it's a big book. But yeah, I mean, outside of those two, this image here is probably my favorite of Wonder Woman. Beautiful, beautiful cover. All right. And then this, I have to update the Jim Lee count. My last video, we had the count at 316. And I kind of was looking through my Jim Lee run on Alpha Flight. And there's a book, I'm positive I picked it up. I'm like 98% positive that I picked it up, which is Alpha Flight 90. But actually, I should say I'm 60% positive I picked it up. We have it added on both the sheet and in my app, so that's what gives me confidence that I did pick it up. But I've looked everywhere for it because I got kind of obsessed, like, where is this Alpha Flight 90? It's not in where it's supposed to be. And I looked through my other Jim Lee sections, and I can't find it unless it's somewhere it's not supposed to be. I guess I haven't done a very, very thorough, because I've got a lot of books, but I haven't been able to verify that I have that copy of Alpha Flight 90. So I kind of took it off my actual list, and I'll put it back on if I ever find it. But for now, I'm going to assume I accidentally sold it, because I did sell a lot of books recently. And it could have been, I don't know, it could have been in the back where I didn't see it, or who knows. But yeah, until I find the book, it's not looking like I have it. So I had to minus the Jim Lee collection by 1. So we're still at 316 with the addition of this book. So the current count's still at 316, because again, we're missing a Jim Lee book that I thought I had that I apparently don't. Now, this is a special book because, well, kind of like two things. Jim Lee and Stan Lee, there's a nice video on YouTube where Stan Lee kind of did like a weekly interview with like artists there at Marvel. And they featured, some of the top names at Marvel at the time. But one was, of course, Stan interviewing Jim Lee, and them talking about, X-Men 1 and how many books it sold, and Jim kind of, sketching and drawing for Stan and going through his process. And Stan just, they have a real good rapport and relationship, and it was featured on that. And of course, they shared the same last name, so they have this like gag that like, hey, we were separated at birth or something, something cheesy like that. But when Jim Lee went to DC, eventually landed at DC, they got this special opportunity. DC, I think, I don't know, maybe reached out to Stan and just gave him this wonderful opportunity to work on the DC catalog. So Stan got to write some origin stories, or secret, I guess, origin stories. It's basically Stan Lee. It's a separate Stan Lee version of like DC characters. And so it was just called Just Imagine Stan Lee's blah, blah, blah. So just imagine Stan Lee's Green Lanterns, just imagine Stan Lee's, Justice League, things like that. The DC portfolio just open to Stan. And Stan Lee wrote these stories, and he collaborated with different artists. And on Wonder Woman's, just imagine Stan Lee's Wonder Woman, he got to work, he got reunited with Jim, and they got to put out, I think, another book. And so this would be really Jim Lee and Stan Lee's sort of final collaboration. So technically, Jim Lee's works at Marvel weren't really collaborations with Stan ever. But, Stan had his name, printed in every book. So, I mean, even though they technically didn't work together, they were kind of like collaborating on projects because Stan was overseeing everything, right? But this is an actual case where they're working together. Stan's writing the story, and Jim's illustrating. Adding the artwork for this. So really special issue. And again, Young gifted this to me. This is really special book just for that fact alone. But yeah, beautiful Jim Lee cover there. And again, their last little collaboration on a book. So yeah, I think it's pretty significant. Just kind of a cool thing to have in the collection, especially with that asterisk, knowing that Stan and Jim had that special relationship together and they were able to kind of collaborate at the end on a DC book, ironically. But that's pretty cool. All right, let's get to unboxing this thing. And like I mentioned, so quick update. This is the other update I wanted to share. In my last video, I did preview this. I said I told you there was something coming. It was a big book. And I also mentioned in that video, because I got this book, I missed my opportunity on getting another book that had I read into that other book first, I probably would have foregone getting this book and spent the money on that bigger book. It's a more expensive book, but we had the budget for it. But when I got this book, I couldn't get it. Well, I did sell some more books. In fact, I sold some today. And while I didn't have the full amount to get the book, I sent over an offer and the guy accepted. So I was able to get the book I wanted at a discount, $10 discount. Now I'm still, actually still with shipping and tax and everything, it did technically go over the budget. But, I told my wife, look, kind of short on it. I'm going to, try to sell some books and make up that difference. It ends up being like, I think I'm short by maybe like $10 or so. So she's like, fine, don't stress out about it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm technically like minus now. I don't have any really funds, so you probably won't be seeing any pickups for a while. I know I've got some books on hold at Destiny City Comics. There's a book I want to pick up at Mill Geek Comics, still kind of sitting there. But we were able to pick up that book. And it was just, I really wanted to pick up that book. I was like, I want to try to scrounge up as much money as I can. Fortunately, we got kind of close. I sent over an offer, and anyway, the book's on its way. End of story. Book is on its way, and I'll be unboxing that probably this weekend. It'll probably get here like Friday or Saturday. Hey, what's up, Nornrad? And yeah, everyone loves Stan. Stan was just one of those, like, I don't know what it is, but there are just some people that this is, the comic book industry is full of different personalities, different, backgrounds, different, you just got all different kinds of people. And I think what made Stan special was he had this sort of magnetism, both in his writing and in his everyday, demeanor, that brought people together, that engaged people, that like made people like pay attention, and in a good way, like they were genuinely, like, I think, understanding they were the presence of greatness, but at the same time just kind of like there's this like reverence for a figure like that. And that's, I think, what everybody appreciated about Stanley. So when he passed, it was such a big, like, whoa, we just lost like one of the truly, like, if you're doing I guess a Mount Rushmore of comic books, Stanley's probably right there, at the forefront, right? A lot of people consider him just just a pioneer, with what he did at Marvel. So, but yeah, back to my point. So this book, and that other big book, when it gets here, we're gonna unbox that. That's gonna be its own special thing, but that'll probably be the last kind of haul video you'll see from me, in a while. Um, like, I am trying to work part-time this summer and build up my comic budget. So it's actually kind of a good, assuming I start working in June sometime this month. It's actually pretty good timing. Yeah, because assuming, like, again, my goal is to start part-time work sometime this month. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because my wife is going to be traveling to Japan soon. So trying to coincide, all the extra time that I'll have just being on my own for a couple months with starting that part-time job. So yeah, I think until the part-time job starts generating some income, you probably won't see a haul video from me for for a while, but it's good. What I am going to do is I'm going to prepare. We're at the halfway mark in 2024. So when this big book arrives, because I think the big book that I'm going to get, not this one, but the one we're getting that's in transit to me right now, that will be definitely, I think, the pickup. Oh, I don't want to say it's the pickup, because we had a big pickup. Yeah, I want to say it's like this. We'll say it's the second biggest pickup of 2024. Yeah. Well, I have to kind of do the algebra on which book is bigger, but yeah, I think a book I picked up previously is the biggest. This will be definitely the second biggest pickup of 2024. And again, we'll do a comprehensive best pickups of 2024 thus far, the halfway mark. We'll put that video out with the unboxing of that book. It's a big book, and I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say what I'm about to unbox right now is big. It'll be bigger than this book. That's as best as I can, I guess, frame it. So if you like this book, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that book. The real question mark on that book, though, it will be the grade. It looks like it's a fantastic grade. I mean, like, I looked at it and it looks like it could be a VF copy. And it's a Silver Age book, so a VF grade on that would be, I feel like I will have gotten a real bargain on that. But we'll have to see. It could be closer to mid-grade. I couldn't tell by the photo, and didn't really bother to ask what the grade was. I just assumed like it would be a mid-grade book from the photo, but again, we'll reveal the grade and everything, or what we think is the grade, when it gets here. And this book did have a description that it was a near mint book, and I don't know if I can corroborate that it's near mint. Through the photo, I mean, it looked okay. So am I seeing a bend in the book? No, fortunately it did not bend or crease or anything like that. And yeah, it looks to be good. The book is taped to the box rather crudely, though. I can't say this was packaged all that well. It looks like it just took 2 pieces of cardboard rather than using a mailer, which is fine. I mean, not everybody's gonna have. I don't even think this is a. Well, no, I think he does have a online shop where he's selling. He's definitely like a seller, because he's got lots of books for sale. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I should just be happy that the book is not near mint. That's for certain. There's like a spine tick, and there's a little bit of staining on the book. Oh no, it's the bag that's stained. Guess we'll kind of take it out and look at it. I wasn't going to grade on this particular got a piece of tape here stuck. Eek, come on. Don't do this to me. So annoying. There we go. All right, so yeah, we need to move it out of the bag and board. Again, F on packaging. I mean, why would you say don't bend the book and then put it so that it could potentially bend the book with this kind of flimsy backing material? Man, it's a good thing this guy just has a book I want, because it's actually got a couple more books I want. But so they do have a retail location. I'm not going to out the guy, but man, they're just a crappy job on packaging. Along with the bag and board. All right, I'm going to get ready to put this in a better bag and board here. Just give me a minute here. Should have an extra. Do I want to use this one? Yeah, why not? I can use this one. I want to put in a nice one. Yeah, this will be good. Those are nice, clean. All right, so let me reveal the book first, and then we'll get to rebagging and boarding everything. Yeah, I've been kind of on a John Byrne Action Comics run. I've been picking up John Byrne books on the cheap for his little run on Action Comics, which I think runs from like, I want to say 583 to 601, maybe 600. He does a series of covers and interiors for that portion of the run. And this is one of the books from the run. Probably just, I think there were a lot of great covers in that run, but this is probably, I think, for me personally, my favorite cover from the run, and that is Action Comics 597. You got Lois Lane and Lana Lang. Again, John Byrne. I think you got him on interior artwork and story. And what's great about this is there's a little section here. I guarantee that this scene does not appear in this issue. So the Superman separating, them having a little cat fight. They're the two rivals for Superman's affections over all these years. And again, just a beautiful cover, right? I'm also targeting that. So Norrad, you and I are, I think that's kind of what I'm targeting. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. Byrne Superman run is, I think, the first 20 or so issues, along with a 6-part miniseries, which launched his introduction to the series. And right around that time, he also was doing an Action Comics run. And again, it's only like, I think, it's not a big lift. It's like maybe, I want to say it's like 15, it's under 20 issues. I want to say it's like 17 issues, maybe. I don't have the exact count, but it's like, I want to say 583 or 587 through 600. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like his Superman run, and it's all around the same period. We're talking like 87, 88. This is from February 1988. And so this book cost me about $30, $34 with shipping and tax and everything. Yeah, we got the book for $24, but add the shipping and add the tax, it ended up being, like $32, $32 or $33. And again, once we spent the money, is like, I had $50 or so to spend, and we spent 30 some on this book. So I was down to like, just around 20. And then we ran into that bigger book. And I was like, oh man, I can't get it now. Like, because had I run into that bigger book first, I just would have threw all the cash, and I wouldn't have gotten this book. But it worked out well because, again, I sold some books today, and I jumped right on eBay, threw an offer at the guy, and if it hit, it hit. If it didn't, I'd have to just try to conjure up some more money. I mean, we were technically still short with shipping and tax and all that, but getting close at least makes that conversation with my wife easier. Like, I just have to, make up the difference in shipping and tax a little bit. So yeah, that other big book is coming, but This is again a signed copy of Action Comics 597. Really just sort of like a beautiful John Byrne cover. A John Byrne cover that's in the style of, I think the kind of the cheesy golden age covers you used to see, where you have this sort of ongoing like love triangle where Lana and it seems like Lois is always getting the short end of the stick, where Lana's like has Superman's attention, and Lois is always getting jealous, and like, but here they're straight up like having a cat fight. But yeah, great cover. But really, the kicker for me is the signature. So you got John's signature there on this like great sort of post note. But we actually have his actual signature there. Yeah. So for me, this was like, when I saw it, I was like, well, I'm getting this, obviously, right? So sent an offer, went back and forth a little bit, landed on 24, ended up paying 32 when all was said and done. So there you go. Thanks, Lok. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Lok. Right. I'm right there with you, man. Man of Steel doesn't. I know it. Everybody has their opinions on that series, but it's what, like, because I got introduced to Superman not through comic books but through the cinema, and I never really collected or read Superman books. I was into comic books, but I was more into like, I think, Marvel and Batman than I was actually like into Superman books. But yeah, right around 1986, 87, when Byrne launched that Man of Steel series, that had me hooked. I mean, I read that miniseries. I transitioned into the volume 2 of Superman as well. I didn't get a chance to read these Action Comics ones, which is why I'm kind of targeting and focusing on them now. But yeah, I mean, that for me is like what I want to add to the collection. I really want to add more Byrne Superman. Yeah, this was, the guy said it was near mint. It's far from near mint. I don't know. I kind of disappointed in the grade, actually. Not that, I mean, I would say it's probably closer to VF copy than it is actually mint. But anyway, we'll deal with this a bit later. Wolf. All right. Yeah, so that's that. I overall, I'm still very happy with the pickup. It's my second Byrne signature in the collection. So I do want to add more Byrne signatures. Ooh, this is not going to fit in here. Hang on. I do want to add more Byrne signatures over time. And when we can pick up, like, not just, we obviously want Byrne signatures on like big key books, but there's a lot of books out there where you get where Byrne kind of inserts himself into his works, either like he's illustrating a likeness of himself in the book, or actually himself in the book, or he's there are a bunch of them actually. In fact, there's a good run of them on She-Hulk, where She-Hulk's like, basically talking to John and saying, what are you doing? Like, why are you drawing me like this? Or, um, the infamous one of the, the new jump roping and all that. That's a great example of the fun Byrne had with that character, that run. Just gonna try to ease this in. All right, so we got 2 Byrne signatures in the collection now, and I'm gonna just try to get this in as far as I can. There we go. That's not looking good. All right, well, I'm gonna fiddle with this a little bit more after the video. Not gonna burden you with me trying to get things into bags and boards and whatnot. But yeah, this is our other. That's a beautiful signature right there. That is like, you got people burning, faces burning right there with John Byrne. I love the irony there. And then this one, just a classic looking cover. Not really Byrne's-esque, but I think Byrne here was going for a more, like maybe a modern take on a sort of a golden age theme, silver age, golden age theme. And it's a signed copy as well on a great cover. So that is my pickup. And I just want to thank everybody for hanging with me on a post Memorial Day video. And I've got a big book on its way. Could be here as soon as Friday, could be here maybe next week, but as soon as it arrives, I'll unbox it. And again, it's bigger than this book. It's probably the second biggest pickup of the year. I mean, we've had a lot of big pickups, but this is like, it's literally the most I've paid this year for a book. Yeah, it's the most I've paid for a book, and it's big. I'll just leave it at that. It's big. It's a big addition to my collection, and I'd say it could rival the other pickup as the biggest. I think I have to just kind of think about it, but I think I could put it at the biggest pickup of 2024. Kind of thinking about it now in terms of its significance. I got to check the census count as well, see what the census count says, but we'll give that a look. And if, it's going to be, you're going to get one rare spawn set. Okay. Can't wait for that. You gonna put that out on a video, Nornrad? All right, I hope to see that one. But yeah, again, John Byrne Superman run needs to get more love, I think. Obviously, his run on Superman was one of those things like they brought John in to resuscitate Superman. It was, it had a lot of like marketing and publicity into it, and they printed a lot of specifically that Man of Steel series and the initial his initial run on Superman. They printed a lot of those copies. It was the 90s. They were just printing books because the demand was very strong for comic books at the time. So yeah, it's not necessarily ever going to be a pricey book, but it's like right now, like dollar bin fodder. I don't think it's necessarily should be dollar bin fodder. It should probably be closer to, like, hopefully at some point, like closer to $5 a book, when people kind of stop and take a breather and realize, oh, okay, yeah, this is a legend working on a legendary character, and really appreciate the Byrne sort of reset of Superman for what it was. It was a modern take and design on a classic character, right? So, and again, just beautifully illustrated by the master, probably the master. I mean, John Byrne is probably the master of my comic book era. I can't think of any creator that's had a bigger impact on books. I mean, we're talking like Jim Lee, John Byrne, both huge impacts. But I mean, John was someone Jim looked up to. Like Jim was like, I want to be John Byrne, right? So that's kind of the context of how big Byrne is, and it was and is in the industry. All right, so yeah, thanks for tuning in with me, and we'll get to unboxing that other book when it comes. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.